when I was very young, when I was a kid, there was a lot of music in my home. My father was bringing vinyls, stuff like Queen, Bon Jovi, Europe, and other cool things. And there was a lot of music around me. I was also playing piano, so there was classical music. When I was growing up, I was discovering a lot of music myself. I was listening. I remember when I started growing up, I started to listen to rock music. So I was continuing this journey after, listening to Queen and those Bon Jovi stuff. I always loved Scorpions, Led Zeppelin, Uriah Heep, and so on. Later on, I discovered punk music, and that was this kind of being being weird, and yeah, that was weird period of my life listening to this kind of music for sure. And later on, I don't know how, I for the first time, I heard Virgin Steel, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, Halloween, Blind Guardian, Metallica, and I felt like, yes, this is my music. Wow, this is fantastic. And I remember I loved the sound of Virgin Steel and of Savatage, for example, because it was metal with lots of keyboards. And I'm a pianist. I'm playing piano since I was 7 years old. So that was beautiful for me. And so I started to keep on looking for more music like that. And I was 16 or maybe 17 when I discovered this classic genre of metal. And, later in high school, I was singing in some weird bands. I was performing with some weird bands here in local clubs in my city and so on. But at the back of my head, I've always had this dream to have a band like Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, to be able to perform with such music on stage. And and that is true what you said, that this genre of music is not very popular among teenagers. Because, for example, my colleagues, my friends, they were laughing at me that I'm listening to such music because they were more interested in stuff like, I don't know, Limp Bizkit, Green Day, and something like that. And I was listening to old albums from Iron Maiden and Metallica. But this is what I really loved, and this is how Crystal Viper. This is why I bring Crystal Viper to life, and it was freaking difficult to find musicians
I can understand that, yeah.
because even here in Poland, this kind of music is in a such deep underground that it almost doesn't exist, in my opinion. And for me, it was always important to play music, to play in a band with band members who also like this kind of music. Because, for example, I cannot imagine myself on stage with someone that I don't like to listen, or that I don't, or with the music that I don't like, or music that I'm ashamed of to perform, because there are some genres that I would never go on stage with to perform. So that was difficult, and it took a couple of years to gather, right people in one band. So it all started in 2003, and the first real lineup of Crystal Viper kind of crystallized in 2007, 2006.
Wow.
So before that time, Crystal Viper was more like project, searching for members, to people to play with.
Yes, but there still are two members from that first real lineup, right?
Me and Andy.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, Golem left the band after releasing Tales of Fire and Ice.
That's that was a surprising lineup change because he's been there for so long. But I guess,
from the very beginning. Yeah,
wow.
That's true. And the lineup was changing during those 13, 14 years, but Not a lot actually, and it was never like that we were arguing or something
Mhm.
dramatic happened. It was always job or family
Of
issues.
course.
And there were moments that someone just had to choose to, I don't know, pay bills or to go on tour.
Of
And
course, yeah.
it's always very difficult choice, and I cannot imagine myself, for example, to be angry at someone that is saying, okay, I have wife, I have kids, I need to go to work. Sorry, guys, I cannot go on tour with us.
Yeah, they
And
need to eat.
yes, exactly. And it's right now kind of weird situation with Andy, because last year, just I don't before we started recording this album, he told us that there were a lot of changes in the company that he's working in, and he won't be able to tour with us. And then this pandemic began. So he said, but he told us that he would be happy to do some recording stuff, and he actually recorded album with us, and he was working with us on it, and but he wasn't able to tour, which actually never happened because we weren't touring last year. So I don't know what will happen this year. Anyway, Andy's still in the band, so
That's good news, I guess.
and I really hope that one of my greatest dreams will happen soon, to play live shows with three guitarists on stage,
That would be
like
great. Yeah.
Iron Maiden is doing. I really love that, especially because in Crystal Viper there are a lots of harmonies and guitar melodies, and
Yes.
I would love to perform them on stage, um, more like we are doing on the albums. But for that you need three guitarists, so that would be fantastic.
Yes. Well, there are three of them now, so that's a good starting point for that.
Yeah, maybe we will even do something even more weird in the future, because in Crystal Viper, each of us can play guitar. So we
Mhm.
can actually perform with five guitars.
Five
So
guitars, no drums.
yeah, no drums, no bass, only guitars. Cedric is very good guitarist as well. Our bass player Blaise, he also can play guitar, so we can sit, together, five of us, and just perform something. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
That would be very interesting. Yeah, for an intro or something.
Yeah,
Five guitar harmony.
yeah.
um, so when did you? Because you didn't play guitar on the first two Crystal Viper albums, I think. What made you? What made you decide to start playing guitar for Crystal Viper as well?
Well, um, as I said, I'm a pianist. This is my first instrument, and most of songs that I compose, I'm composing them on my piano.
Yes.
So in Crystal Viper, on the first album, when we were working on the first album, I was composing songs on my piano, and it was freaking difficult for me to explain to guitarists what to play with my piano.
Yes.
I wasn't able to play guitar riffs on my piano, so I was that was kind of difficult, but we created this first album and so on. And when I started working on the second one, I said something like, okay, enough. I cannot work that way. I want to be better composer. I want to be able to play, you know, to play guitar, to compose better songs, you
Hmm.
know. So I remember it was after second album, or yeah, it was after Metal Nation, or in the middle of working of Metal Nation. Okay, I don't remember exactly when it was, but
Somewhere
uh,
around that time.
yeah, somewhere around that time, I started slowly playing very first notes on a very cheap guitar that I wasn't able to tune it. I remember, but I needed to try guitar, if this is something that I really want to do, or if I will be even able to play. So we bought very cheap guitar in the local music store, and I was trying my very first songs with this one. And I liked that because I was learning playing guitar while composing Crystal Viper songs.
Yes.
And I remember it was, I felt sometimes kind of angry because I had such a great ideas in my head and I wasn't able to play them, you know.
I recognize that. Yeah.
So that was a very good motivation for me to keep on practicing.
Yes.
And I remember I was never doing those classic guitar, you know, exercises because I was having enough when I was doing my own songs. Trust me.
Yes.
there was literally every day something new to learn because I was keep on composing songs and I was trying to play. There was always something for me to play for the first time.
Yes.
The rhythm, different kind of picking, melodies, harmonies, and so on. And my bandmates, guys from Crystal Viper, they knew that I'm playing guitar at home because I started sending them tracks, guitar tracks to learn. So I started to showing them directly how this song should sound, or I even started programming drums. That was also the time that I started to play a little bit of on bass guitar, because when I started, you know, playing guitar, I wanted to create complete song.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they have never seen me playing live on rehearsal because that was never my plan. I actually didn't want to play on stage. That wasn't my plan. I always, you know, I was looking in the future with me, with the guitar at home, with my piano, playing just, you know, for playing and composing songs and to live playing them live to other to other people
Yeah.
who were better than I was. And I remember it was a recording session of Stronghold, Under
Yes.
Siege. We were recording song for a board game. And it was the time that together with Bart, with my husband, we bought new guitar and we took it into the studio to check how this guitar sounds. So I plugged it in and started to play. And guys from my band were like, what? And what's even more funny, that was the time that we were looking for a second guitarist because one guitarist left because of his job issues and so on. And we were looking for someone to Crystal Viper. And I started to play and they were like, okay, we have a guitarist. And I was like, no, you don't. Because I don't want to play guitar on stage. And it ended up like that I recorded Stronghold in the studio on guitar. That was my first official guitar recording in the recording studio, my first released work with guitar. And yeah, they kind of I'm missing English word right now. They made me kind of they made me that I came on the next day to rehearsal room with my guitar. So I said, okay, I will give it a try. We will see what will happen if I am able to even play standing, because I was always sitting, and on stage it's something completely different.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and it was, I won't lie to you, it was very difficult for me because it was always like only singing or only playing.
Yeah.
And playing and singing the same time was very difficult for me. And I had to learn to do that. And I remember I was practicing at home in front of the mirror, standing and just playing and singing songs to learn to do that, to, you know, to get this muscle memory, to sing and not think what I'm playing, just to have it, you know, programmed in my body. And I kind of learned that. And when I learned that, I liked that. And yeah, this is how I became guitarist in Crystal Viper.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Later on, I stopped playing guitar, and Eric Juris joined the band. And then I decided to back to band on guitar because I missed it so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Stopped playing guitar on stage for me. I can admit that it was one of the biggest mistakes in my life.
Well,
because
it's good that you can correct that mistake then.
yeah, it was a mistake because I was going on stage without guitar and I felt empty. I felt like I'm lying to myself. I'm lying to audience who came to see Crystal Viper live because they probably haven't expected that I'm not playing. I'm feeling bad on stage because I'm not playing. I wasn't happy. I was going off stage and I felt like I'm not complete.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like those shows without guitar, and I really regret that I agreed to skip on, to give up on playing guitar for a year or so. Yeah, but there was a moment that I said enough. I need to back on guitar because it makes no sense for me, to continue as metal musician on stage. This is what I really want to do. This is what I love to do and what I want to do.
Yes.
So yeah. So we have 3 guitarists right now in Crystal Viper. Cool. Yeah, officially only 2 live. Me and Eric, because Andy is not able to play at the moment, but we don't have live shows at the moment, so it really doesn't matter. So it's okay.
We'll see what the future brings in that regard.
Yes.
What type of guitar are you playing on? Because I have seen a very old live video of I think it was the last Axeman, where you play on a Dean that's almost too big for you for your hands.
Trust me, every guitar is too big for my hands. I will show you something.
Sure, go ahead.
This is my bass guitar.
Oh,
and
damn.
it's freaking huge. Can you see that? When I'm standing, the head of guitar it's like here. I'm always laughing that I look with this guitar like a hamster with a huge biscuit. Oh.
So what do you play now? Have you found something that fits you?
Yeah, I can show you. Wait a second.
All
because
right.
right now we are in my home studio, so I have everything here. Just give me a second.
No problem. Take your time.
Okay, the story with my guitars is like we were playing a live show in Spain, and that was the time that I was playing on Deans. And I really liked those guitars because they were cool and so on.
Yeah, they sound great.
Yes, that's true. But after we got back home and I seen at the airport what the airlines did to my guitar, and that was my favorite guitar, I almost cried because it was in pieces. It was it made absolutely no sense to repair it and so on. And there were next Crystal Viper live shows on the horizon, so it was clear for me that I need to buy something new. So together with Bart, we went to music store to look for a new guitar, and there was this baby.
That already looks better fitting to your hands.
It's ESP LTD MH350 FR, and that was my first LTD guitar. I remember I took it in my hands for the first time in music shop, and I felt like someone created this guitar, especially for me. It was so perfect. It was a love from the first chord.
Very cool.
Yeah, love from a first chord. And after that, right now I have 4 LTD guitars, and they have cool feeling, in my hand when I'm playing them. They are so comfortable and so on. But this is my favorite one, but I think it's because it was the first LTD.
Do you take that one with you on tour, or are you careful with it, leaving it in your home studio?
It's always difficult for me to choose which one is going on tour. Mm-hmm. I really like to play with this one at home, especially when composing, because it's really comfortable to play on it when I'm sitting.
Yes.
But when I'm standing, I prefer V-shaped guitars because they look so badass on stage.